Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Shri Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Jnananandamayan Devam Nirmalasphटिकाकृतिम् Adharam Sarva Vidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmahe Vasudevasutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Welcome back. This is the third and last part of chapter 12. In the first part, we covered 1 to 5 verses. In the second part, we covered 8 to 12 verses. We have seen in verses 8 to 11 the 4 methods of worshipping the physical form of the Lord. Verse 12 summarizes the 4 methods and concludes that Sarva Karma Phalatyagam, or renouncing the results of all actions, is the best of 4 methods, as it gives instant peace to the devotees. Now, in 13 to 19 verses, Lord Krishna specifies certain qualities of his dearest devotees or perfect devotees. Imbibing these qualities will help the seekers of the Lord to lead their lives in a better way and get closer to Him. In a way, these qualities help each one of us to become perfect human beings as well as perfect devotees of the Lord. We will see verse by verse. So, verse 13. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitrah karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukha kshami. So here Lord Krishna is saying devotees who do not have ill intention towards others, who are friendly and compassionate to all living beings, who do not have attachment to material things, who do not have ego, who treat both happiness and sorrow equally, and who forgive others are close to my heart. So here Lord Krishna is specifying 7 qualities that his devotees possess. So the first one is Adveshta. That means he is saying Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. That means they are free from hatred towards all living beings and they treat everyone equally. And then Maitraha. They are friendly to all beings and they do not develop any enmity with anyone. They do not develop animosity to anything as well. And he is saying Karunaha. They are compassionate to all beings. They see others' pain as their pain and revert immediately. That means they are selfless. They do not have any selfish motive. And next is Nirmamaha. They are free from attachment to material things and beings. When there is no attachment, their presence or absence does not matter. That way they are always close to the God. And next is Nirahankaraha. They are free of egotism and they give up I-ness or selfishness. That means they perform their duties as a worship to the Lord. They believe that any action performed by them is because of the Lord's grace. So they don't take ownership to that action. And next is Samadukha Sukhaha. That means being equipoised in distress and happiness, which these distress and happiness are the results of actions. So the Lord's devotees perform actions without any expectation and as a worship to the Lord. They also have the attitude of accepting the outcomes with humility. They understand that the outcomes are not in their hands but are external, which always cannot be controlled. So they remain equipoised at all times. And the last quality in this verse is Kshami. That means having forgiving nature. The Lord's devotees see godly nature in themselves as well as others. So they easily forgive others' mistakes. They do not develop animosity or enmity with anybody. So here in this 13th verse, he has specified the 7 qualities. And this is continuing until the 19th verse. In all the 19 verses, he is specifying about 35 qualities. So let them see one by one. In the 14th verse, let us see the 14th verse. Santushtas satatam yogi yatatma dridha nischayah mayyarpita mano buddhihi यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः. Here, the Lord is saying, devotees who are ever contented, steadily united with me in devotion, self controlled, of firm resolve, and dedicated to me in mind and intellect, are dearest to me. So, here in this verse, the Lord is specifying about five qualities that his devotees have. The first one is santushtaha. That means they are always contented with whatever they have or get. This helps them to remain calm and peaceful. Excessive wants and desires keeps the mind agitated. Next is saying is Satatam Yogi. That means they are always stable in devotion. As they give up wants and desires, their minds remain pure and can focus on the Lord. They can meditate upon the Lord without any agitations. And next is Yatatma. That means they are self-controlled. Here Atma refers to the mind. Absence of wants and desires keeps them unagitated and control all their emotions. So they balance their emotions with respect to people, situations, and things around them. Thus, they can focus on the Lord and meditate upon Him effortlessly. Next is Dridha Nishchayaha. That means having firm resolve. They have a strong intent of knowing the ultimate and absolute reality and experience it. That means they are keen on knowing about their self and abide in that knowledge. That they understand that their identity is not body, mind, and intellect, but the energy that is driving them. So they always strive to discover that energy and unite with the universal energy. And the last one in this verse is Mai Arpita Manaha Buddhihi. That means they dedicate both mind and intellect to me. We discussed how mind and intellect can be fixed on the Lord in the 8th verse. You can watch the part 2 to understand this more in depth. Okay, and next is, so let's move on to 15th verse. Here the 15th verse is Yasman no dvijate lokaha lokan no dvijate chayaha harsha marsha bhayodvegaihi mukto yassa me priyaha. Here is specifying another 5 qualities. He's saying whoever, in this verse, the Lord is saying that whoever devotees who do not agitate others and who do not get agitated by others and who treat pleasure and pain equally and are free from fear and anxiety are dear to me. So let us see the 5 qualities that he is specifying here. First he is saying, na udvijate lokaha lokat na udvijate. That means whoever the devotees, perfect devotees of the Lord, do not agitate or disturb others and are also not agitated or disturbed by others. Their emotions are stable while they deal with other people. Next is Mukta. Here, Muktaha is common to these 5 qualities. So, Muktaha Harshaha, we should understand it that way. Okay, Muktaha Harshaha, that means they are free of pleasure. That means they do not aim for deriving worldly pleasures. They remain detached with the pleasures they get. They view the pleasures as received by the Lord's grace and do not experience happiness or joy in experiencing the pleasures or take pride in them. Next is Muktaha Amarshaha. That means they are free of pain. They do not experience pain in being distanced from any worldly pleasures. They are aware that these pains and pleasures are temporary. And next is Muktaha Bhayaha. They are free of fear of anything. They are completely unafraid of facing any situation in life. They do not worry about losing or gaining something. They welcome all situations with humility. And the last one is Muktaha Udvegaha. That means they are free of anxiety. Udvegaha means anxiety. When there is no fear, there is no anxiety either. Anxiety comes with fear. So the Lord's devotees are not afraid of any situations. So they do not face anxieties also. Okay. And in the next verse, he is specifying another 6 qualities. So let us see the 16th verse. अनपेक्षशुचिर्दक्षः उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः. So here he is saying, devotees who are free from wants, internally and externally pure, skillful and alert, unconcerned and free from mental agitations, and free from selfishness, in all takings are dear to me. So here he is talking about another 6 qualities. So first one is anapekshaha. That means the Lord's devotees are indifferent to worldly things. They do not particularly crave for worldly things, but if they get worldly things, they remain indifferent to them. That means they do not develop any attachment to them. They do all their duties correctly. In the process, if they receive worldly things, they treat them as the Lord's blessing. Since they do not aim for them, their presence or absence won't make any difference to them. Next one is Shuchihi. That means they are pure. They are pure both from outside and inside. Inner purity or mind purity is very important. Giving up desires, greed, jealousy, pride, and anger leads to mind purity. Lord's devotees always ensure that they are free from these impure thoughts so that their hearts are always pure and they can spread love to the people around them. That way they perceive the Lord's presence in and around them. And the next one is Dakshaha. That means they are skillful or perfect. The Lord's devotees discharge their duties perfectly by giving up impure thoughts like desires, greed, jealousy, pride, and anger, and without any expectations. This is very important. They discharge their duties perfectly without any expectations. Thus, they remain unfettered by any situations or any being. And the next one is Udasinaha. That means they are not caring about the results. See, they perform their actions without any concerns and with full faith on the Lord. Since they do not have expectations, they do not care about the outcomes of the actions. They accept any result with an open mind. And the next one is Gatavyathaha. They are unworried about the past happenings or the results of any past actions. They do not remember positive results also. They give up the thoughts of past achievements or happenings or failures. Doing the duty without expectations is the key here. And the next one is Sarvarambha Parityagi. That means they renounce the results of all actions. Thus they give up any expectations out of an action. When there is no expectation, there is no pain or pleasure, no worry or enjoyment, no fear or anxiety, no depression or pride. This quality helps them to remain pure from inside. And in the next verse, he's talking about another 4 qualities. Let us see the next verse. Yo na hrishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktimanyas same priyaha. So here he is saying, devotees who neither rejoice, nor hate, nor grieve, nor desire, renounce both good and evil, are full of devotion, are dear to me. So let us see one by one. Na hrishyati na dveshti. So he is saying, Lord's devotees do not rejoice in worldly pleasures or despair in worldly sorrows. They understand world pleasures and sorrows are temporary. Since they dissociate their mind and the self from the external world, they don't have any interest in the results or outcomes of worldly actions. They accept whatever comes to them with humility. They are always equipoised. The next one is na shochati. That means they do not lament for any loss. When there is no desire or expectation, they are not worried about losing something. They believe that anything that comes has to go. So the loss of anything or anybody will not affect them. They fix their mind on their self and do not bother about the external losses. They want to keep their internal energy at the highest level without letting the external losses affecting them. Next is nakankshati. They do not hanker for any gain. Similarly, they do not go or they do not aim for any external gains. The next one is Shubha Ashubha Parityagi. They renounce both good and bad results of actions. They know that enjoying the results of good actions will also impact their calmness, because these enjoyments may lead to further wants and thus lead to further bondages to material world. So they remain untouched to even the results of good action. Remaining untouched to just negative results is not adequate. Remaining untouched to the outcomes of both good and bad actions is the real equipoise. Okay. In the next verse, Lord Krishna is talking about another 5 qualities that his dearest devotees have. So let us see them let us see the verse. Samashatrau cha mitre cha tatha manapamanayoho shitoshna sukha dukkeshu samasanga vivarjitaha. So here he is saying the first one is Samaha Shatrau Mitre. That means Lord's devotees treat friends and foes alike. They do not identify anyone as a friend or as an enemy. They treat everyone with a godly feeling and have the humility to accept everyone and excuse everyone. Thus, they know having negative or positive feeling towards anyone will only lead to an impure mind and affect their internal energy. Next one is Samaha Mana Apamanayoho. That means Apamanaha, Mana Apamanaha. They treat honor and dishonor alike. Mana is honor, Apamana is dishonor. So since they treat everyone alike, others' behavior will not affect them in any way. They do not rejoice when someone honors them or lament when someone dishonors them. They take the situations very normally and get back to their work easily. Reciprocating to such situations will lead to an impure mind again. So they know this. Next is Samaha Shitaha Ushnaha. That means they remain stable in heat and cold conditions. They know no external condition is permanent and is tend to change. So they try to endure the conditions without developing negativity to the situations. Heat and cold conditions are used as an example. As a hot thing can become cold with time, any situation can reverse with time. So Lord's devotees understand this concept. So they endure any situation without any complaints. Next is Samaha Sukha Dukkeshu. That means they are equipoised in joy and sorrow because they do not expect anything and accept whatever comes as the Lord's gift. They do not overreact to any situation. They remain calm and continue their work without any disturbances. This is very important to meditate upon the Lord. Okay. And next is Samasangaha Vivarjitaha. Who is free from unfavorable situations. That means the Lord's devotees are free from unfavorable associations. To achieve all the above qualities, the main thing is to associate with good and like-minded people. Looking at one's friends, his or her nature can be understood. So the Lord's devotees do not give any scope to any little facet that comes in their way of devotion. They give up all negative associations and keep their mind calm and pure always. And in the next verse, Lord Krishna concludes this section with another 6 qualities that his devotees have. So he is saying, devotees who treat Tulya Nindastutir Mauni Santushto Yena Kenachita Aniketa Sthiramatihi Bhaktiman Me Priyo Naraha. So the first quality is he is saying Tulya Nindastutihi. That means Lord's devotees treat reproach and praise alike. Reacting to such situations will disturb the mind and divert to worldly things. So they remain unaffected by even praise, not only criticism. And next is Mauni. So he is saying Lord's devotees contemplate silently. They do not allow the thoughts of any situation affect their actions. This does not mean being calm or not talking from outside. So cutting the thoughts is the key. Being calm from outside but continuing the thoughts inside will not make the mind pure. So being calm both internally and externally is very, very important. So here Mauni means cutting the thoughts, not only being externally calm but cutting the thoughts, and thus being calm both inwardly and outwardly is the key to continue the meditation or the devotion towards the Lord in a very peaceful manner. The next one is Santushtaha yena kena chit. That means here he is saying they are content with whatever they get. This attitude leads to mind purity and helps to focus on the Lord. And next is Aniketaha. They are free of attachment to the place of residence. Thus they can focus on the Lord at any place and from anywhere without any hassles. And next is Thiramatihi. So he's saying the Lord's devotees have intellect. Their intellect is fixed on Him. So they align their mind and intellect and have the single pointedness on the Lord. They conquer all deviations of mind with self-knowledge and self-practice. And next he's saying Bhaktiman. So the Lord's devotees are thus perfect human beings and perfect devotees in all respects. Thus, imbibing these qualities, the qualities which are mentioned from verses 13 to 19, will help us to become perfect human beings and perfect devotees as well. All of us should try to imbibe these qualities, at least some of them to start with, and keep on analyzing ourselves as to where we are. So we should try to keep ourselves active in these aspects so that eventually we'll enter the spiritual path and be able to continue in that path. Okay, and in the last verse, Lord Krishna says these qualities are all righteous, and whoever follows this path are his dearest devotees and will be liberated from sorrows. So let us see that last verse. Ye tu dharmyamritamidam yathoktam pariyupasate shraddhadhana matparamaha bhaktastetiva me priyaha. So he's saying devotees who follow this immortal dharma, which is described from 13th to 19th verse in terms of qualities, so who are endowed with faith and regard me as a supreme goal are dearest to me. So we should understand that imbibing these qualities, and then as it was told in the second verse, so whoever has immense faith and devotion to me are my perfect devotees, he said. So whoever has that faith, Shraddha and Bhakti are his perfect devotees. So this Bhakti Yoga enumerates how a devotee should be. So it only talks about the devotee to the Lord. So we should be able to, whether we are doing the Nirguna Upasana or the Saguna Upasana, whatever it is, the main thing is keeping our mind pure and then working from there. So the first and main thing is keeping the mind pure. So Karma Yoga, following Karma Yoga helps us to keep our mind pure, and then we have to raise from there. So Karma Yoga is the base for the for entering the spiritual path. So that way, after that, we have to maintain that by imbibing these qualities. So this is the end of the 12th chapter. So let us finish off this with a concluding statement. Om Tat Saditi Shrimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishnarjuna Samvade Bhakti Yogo Nama Dvadashodhyayaha. Okay, so let us end the chapter here. Jnananandamayan devam nirmalaspatikakritim आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे एतत् फलं श्री सद्गुरु दिव्य चरणारविन्दार्पणमस्तु. So thank you.